Yeah, that started now.
How does that work? Are you how am
I'll
I
send
able
you
to?
I'll send you the file,
Oh, okay.
or I'll upload it to YouTube and make it unlisted.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Thank
yeah,
you.
so that's only if you have the link you can watch it. Um, yeah, so Passacaglia is different to a chacon, but they're similar in that it's basically a theme and variations. So we've got this theme, and then we have a variation, variation one, and then the whole time you see the bass line is the same: A, G, F, E, and then he does a few different. After that, the theme he's actually extended it a little bit. So it's kind of like this is where it's like a blend of Passacaglia and Chacon. So you see the bass here, A to E,
Yeah.
there, right? It's going down, but then he does something a bit different after that. Then you get this extra bass line, which is not a Passacaglia. So this is a Passacaglia, this descending bass line, and then this is something a bit different. Here it's quite interesting what he does. You know, harmonically here it's A minor and then G and then F and then E. It's very Spanish. You know, if you did G E, right? The Spanish you know
Hmm.
like Spanish style music kind of uses that progression a lot. Um, so then we get variation one, and every variation is a little different. Well, some are very different, very contrasting. But he kind of uses this. Another interesting feature is that he uses this opening as what's called a refrain. So it comes back again and again. So you get theme, variation, and then often the theme will come back, and then you get a variation, and then the theme, and then variation. And he's using this pattern. It's usually done where you just hear the theme at the start, and then it's variations, and you don't hear the theme again. Maybe at the very end you will, but so it's just something, these things to consider, because here the theme comes back. So we're hearing the theme a lot, and it's just something to consider in your interpretation. Each time the theme comes back, maybe you know what you'll do. What will you do with that theme? You know, will you? And it sort of depends on, you know, the piece really has its highs and lows, ups and downs. So it might depend on that a little bit. But maybe we'll start with this theme here with the Passacaglia. So there are a couple of one really interesting chord in these four bars. Which chord would you say is the most interesting? Which one sounds like the most tension in it? Or do you want to play? You want to play through it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So which one?
Part three.
Bar
E.
three. Oh no, the E.
The part three. Is it
Bar three.
E?
Yeah, that's it. Bar three.
Oh,
It's this chord
three.
here. Yeah. It's this one here. The reason for that is because we have F in the bass and E in the melody. So I think it'll be nice if you could play that chord with a bit more color and weight. So the other chords, you know, are pretty, you know, they're kind of bland. but then that one kind of pulls us, and then it resolves. So if you could also make sure it's basically like a resolution after the chord and a nice build up into the chord. So that gives the 4 bars a really nice shape. So you could start it nice and soft and then build up as you get to this chord and then resolve when you get to the E. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you give that a go. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you can write that down. Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was great. Beautiful, beautiful. I also find it's quite nice how we hear these bass notes on the third beat as well. Maybe you could just give us a little bit more. Uh, it almost like these sort of pull us into the next beat a little bit. Sort of. So it gives it a bit of forward direction, right? It's not too static. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
these.
do I roll for the first?
Oh, so yeah, I'm rolling a lot of chords.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm rolling a lot of chords.
okay.
You don't have to. You
Then
don't have to roll that many.
okay.
It's definitely this one. I think that one definitely needs a
Okay.
roll.
Yeah.
The other
So,
one's kind of up to you a little bit.
so you, so you mean the last note of each bar, so it's a bit of delay.
Sort of. Yeah, yeah. Little, a little bit of delay before it, but it's kind of, it's more like it's pushing us into the next chord rather than being like the bar line, rather than it being like that. It's a very subtle difference, but it gives the theme some forward direction without necessarily accelerating or rushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe one more time with
Yeah.
that also. Yeah, yeah, nice. Maybe a bit softer on that E chord if you can. It's really important to resolve on the E chord at the end there. Yeah, a bit softer.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Not is okay.
So, can actually sometimes it can help to use your body language, a bit of movement, and then push into that one, and then right. Early, if you watch like early musicians, people who play early, Baroque instruments and things like that, and they use, especially if they're using a bow, there's a lot of that kind of movement. One, two, three, one, two, and it helps. It's like if you're in an ensemble, it really unifies the ensemble too. And then it helps. I think it just helps make that really clear to the listener because we listen with our eyes too. Yeah, so if we're just sitting like sitting like a statue, it does it's not as clear to, even if you're doing it, you know, it's still not as
Yeah.
clear to the listener. So, um, okay, maybe that's enough on that. So if we look at the second part of the theme, um, I think there are a couple of interesting chords now. So what chords do we have here that sound a bit more colorful and interesting. I'm gonna play from the E chord. Okay. Yeah. So which chords? Because at the moment they're all sounding very similar. I think there are a few that need to be highlighted a bit more.
Bar 6.
Bar 6. Which chord in bar 6?
Sure.
Yeah, nah, not bar 6. Not bar 6.
Okay.
Bar, even actually in bar 4, if you play the last chord of bar 4,
Yeah.
you play that? Yeah, listen to that, right? Yeah. If you want to know what it is, it's E7 in third inversion. E7/D. So a third inversion seventh chord is always very unstable, very tense. Then it resolves to its expected place. And then what about this one? If you look at the bass line, we go from C to C sharp to D. So how do we, what's that called, that kind of movement? C, C sharp, D. That kind of thing.
Chromatic.
Chromatic, yeah. So the bass line is chromatic, C, C sharp to D. So the C sharp is really interesting there. So that chord, those two chords, I think you could highlight, and then there's one more, which is this one. That's called a sus4 chord, suspended, sus4, E sus4. Suspended chords are really beautiful. And then with the ornament, now I think with Weiss, he basically he had like one symbol, and that one symbol meant add an ornament. I think it was usually either that or like a upside down U or a normal U. And this meant do the ornament from above, and this meant do the ornament from below. So what I would expect on this one is what you're doing, which is from above. You're doing it from above. But what type of ornament you use is, does your edition have, does it say trill, or does it say mordant, or does it say something like that? Or
Nothing. It's an
it's nothing
upside
to it.
down U.
It's like this one, yeah. So I would do a trill here. I would do a trill. I think it's a really conventional place to add a trill. Yeah, to add a trill. So you do that kind of thing. Yeah. Have you done that sort of thing before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Try to accelerate. Yeah. So yeah, that suspended chord. It's another one you can play into it a little bit more. Roll it as well. So you roll, yeah. If you roll the E7 with D in the bass, the chord with C sharp in the bass, and then the suspended chord. Good. That's a good. I think that's a good tasteful amount of rolls. You're not rolling everything. But it's nice to roll some of them. Those more colorful chords there. Okay, so could you play from the E chord until the first variation, please. So that one you want to roll. Can you play from the E chord? Start it over, so and then roll.
E.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's great. Fantastic. Bringing the theme to life a bit more now by doing those things. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice. Very nice. Okay, so I think what we'll do is skip ahead to some of the variations that are a little bit more challenging, um, and try to make them a bit easier. So this doesn't have bar numbers, unfortunately, but if you can go to, I mean, if I could give you a little task to do in your own time,
Yeah.
I think it's really helpful just to label each one. Say this is variation one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. That's unusual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 7 bars long. That's a really unusual number. Um, and then we go back to the theme. Um, and then this is now variation 2. And if you could just keep labeling that, I think that's very helpful. Just it just
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about the theme here is it's very similar, except over here, what's he doing differently? What's he doing differently here compared to the first theme? The first theme at the end of the theme is going down, right?
Mm.
And this one's going
Going up.
going up. Yeah, so he's building more intensity at the end of this theme. It's those types of differences that you want to look out for, because that can, he's repeating the theme, but with subtle differences, and that can be nice if you can build up there. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so this variation here, yeah, it's quite tricky. Lots of shifting. So the first thing to do to make sure that's very clear is that you know what position you're in, what positions you're in at all times. Yeah, are you clear about that? Are you clear about what position you're playing in at all times through this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that's step one. Can you walk me through that? So if you play from the start, tell me what position you're in.
So second position.
Good.
Seven.
Yeah.
This is 7.
Yeah.
5. 7. 9.
Good.
8. Oh, yeah, 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is 9. Oh,
Mm. Is that 9? Are you sure? Can you do that again?
8. 8 position.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not like my.
Yeah, it's kind of 8. I think it's 8th. Yeah, it's 8th
8.
position. But the first, that's a tricky one because the first finger's going out of
Yeah.
position for a moment to get to the B, but then you're in 8th. Yeah.
So you went back to 7 here.
7th. Yeah. Great, good. All right. So that's yeah, that's just useful just to map it out like that.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So a couple of sort of you know um, like methods to practice when we have challenging passages like this. One is I call it divide and conquer. So you practice a small segment and repeat it until it's really comfortable for you to play.
Yeah.
Especially the more challenging ones. So you want to prioritize a little bit. What are the most challenging in this in this variation? Like what are the hardest? What are the most challenging passages? Do you have? Would you?
Yeah.
What
These.
would you choose?
Start from here.
Yeah. So that's a great spot right there to divide and conquer, just to isolate it. Is that it?
The
That
second.
bar? That bit?
Let's start from here.
That's another spot, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it? So there's two. Yeah, there's sort of like two spots there. So if you go back to the first one, so I think it was in the second bar of the variation.
Yep.
Yeah, can you start from there, please? That. Yeah. That. Yeah. 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 It's getting to there. It's getting to that chord shape, isn't it? Uh,
It's more like repetition from previous.
yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
So one thing I'm noticing, it's always helpful to look out for guide fingers. So I
Okay.
think the first finger can guide. You can hold the first finger, right? Does that make sense? Hold the first
Yep.
finger.
First finger.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, your addition. I'm trying to figure out the fingering. What have you got? Are you in the seventh position when
Yeah.
you play?
Yeah. That's right.
Ah, okay. Sorry, okay. So from the seventh. Okay, that's even better. So that means your first finger can just stay down on the seventh fret on the B. Yeah, you can just hold the first finger down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah,
So
I
that
let go.
that
I
already
let
that's
go that one.
that finding things like that can almost instantly
Okay.
make it easier.
Yeah.
Um, I'd also suggest holding your excuse me. I notice when you play that you're lifting your fourth finger like that. Might be nice to hold it, and that will just give your hand a bit more stability and economy of movement.
So,
So hold, so put four down now, put four down as well, and just hold it down. Like that. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
So your hand becomes much more stable and yeah, much more efficient.
Okay. Hold this one.
Yeah. So you want to put four down earlier and hold it down longer. Mm. Okay, so that's divide and conquer. It's repeating, but it's also thinking. You got to think about what is there anything I can do to make it easier. It's usually just a handful of things, guide fingers or pivot fingers, or it's usually um, fairly straightforward to figure it out. Okay, so in the next bar, let's go over to the next bar.
Fifth, fifth position.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that particular fingering. There's, I can see why to hold. What do you do? Oh. So well, let's just start with what you've got. So you've got. I think that's what you're doing, right? Can you play that
Yeah.
again, please? I'll check. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's a tricky bar. Um, uh, and
Yeah.
then and then two, four. Okay, and then you
Then I change.
change.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think it could work. I think it could work.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just looks. I think if you can make your movements again more efficient, it will be easier. So that just the first part of the bar. I'm actually holding the first finger down until the open E.
Uh,
Are you using one?
uh,
Ah, okay, okay, okay. So the thing, okay, so that's the okay. That's tricky because you have to be very aware that the first finger is. It's always important to know where the first finger is because it's our guide. Of what position we're playing in. So fifth position, and then sixth. Could you just repeat that a few times? I can see why. I know why this fingering is good now. Nice. Yeah. Um, there are a couple of spots here where your edition is using what's called campanella. Have you heard of campanella before?
okay.
It means bells. So at the start of this variation, uh, right, you've got that. Why that rather than right? So this is the way I'm playing it now is without campanella. Campanella is where you play a fretted note and then an open string, and so it allows you to sustain. It's kind of like a bell like sound. There's so here. What was it again? That's also a campanella. It's going across strings. So you want to try and sustain, and then does that make sense? You want to sustain. Yep, that's it. Yep, 1 and 4, sustain, and then 1, 0, and 2 are across. They're on 3 different strings, right? Second, first, third. So try to sustain. Campanella is it's a technique that lute players lute players use a lot. You know, if they play a scale, instead of playing it like that, you can do it like that, that's a campanella. Same notes, but very, very different effect, isn't it? Okay, I'm just giving you a like a definition, a picture of what that effect is, because it's almost like an ornament in a way. It's a special type of sound, right? It's a special type of sound to be aware of. So yeah, sustaining, and then so if we could play the rest of that bar. Can you play the rest of that bar? Yeah, there's another campanella that you just played. Yeah, those notes across different strings. Can you play that bar again, please?
And then I change here.
Yeah.
To 4.
Yeah, can you repeat? Can you just keep looping that? Yeah, it's tricky. That going to the 2/4, I find that tricky.
Yeah, that's to 4.
So I would spend quite just a few minutes just trying to land that, getting there too. I think you're doing the bar early. Yeah, that's good. Putting that bar down a bit early is helpful. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break down everything to, like, what position am I going? What's the effect of it? You know, what can I do to make it easier? Putting that bar down a little bit earlier, as you were doing, that makes it easier.
I mean the bar chord sound.
Yeah, when you putting that bar
Earlier.
down a little earlier than you need to, which is good. It's preparing you for the
Okay.
next chord. So yeah, can you try that a few times again, please? Yeah. That's it. That's good. Yeah, yeah. Again. Now that bass note. Sorry, that bass note when you play this, is it a B or an E in your edition?
E.
E.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're
E.
playing B. You're playing B.
Okay, 5th string.
Yep. So 5th string. Yeah. That's it. Good, good. There's this one really specific place where I think you could be a bit more efficient with your fingers, which is here. Excuse me. Here, when you do the bar,
Yeah.
I think you could be even more. Try and keep everything as close as possible. So, what are you doing? Like this. So I've already got my third finger down, and my first finger is very close to the strings. Right. It might be worth just practicing that, what I'm doing right now. Oh, sorry, bar. It's a very, very uh, complicated movement there. Ah, yeah, try that.
I need to
You can go
check that
right
out.
on that spot I was doing. So the 4-2, we're starting on the 4-2 bit.
Yep. Yep.
So set yourself up so you want your third finger 4-2. No, yeah, oh yeah, you need to go back. That's it. Yeah, so get your third finger on the first string as well. If you can move your third. Yeah, and get the bar ready to go. So flatten your first finger. That's it. Yeah. And then
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So you're setting it up to make it much easier. Yeah? Yeah. Because if
Yeah.
you're doing this, right? If your hands like that, it's
Yeah.
much harder to get these things. But if you've got them ready, it makes it flow a lot more easily that way.
Yeah.
Uh, mm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
works.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Good. Huh.
That's
Okay.
it.
Good.
So that this is kind of like, yeah, the type of problem solving we need to do, and we practice, and we have challenging passages. So our time is starting to run low. So um, I'd encourage you to apply the same way of practicing to the other passages that you're having trouble with. Yeah, just the same type of thinking, efficient movements, and things like that. One more thing about this passage, and one more thing to consider generally, is the phrasing, because sometimes phrasing and shifting, a lot of the times, they are related to each other. So we've got to me that's like the end of a little phrase. Excuse me. And then, does that make sense? We go, and then it restarts. It restarts a new phrase. So there could be a slight separation between, and this will help make it easier to play between. So this ends there, right? And then that's another phrase, right? Dee da dee da 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 da. So it's like that's one phrase there. Right, that's one phrase there to the D, and then that's another phrase there. It's like a sub phrase, and then this one is up to the E there. Right, so we have and then can you hear that? It's actually three
Yeah.
different ideas. And then and you see that the shifts happen at those points too. You go to the fifth position here, you go to the seventh position here. So you can take a little bit of time with those. You don't have to. It doesn't have to, flow on too much. Just a little bit. Sorry, I don't remember the thing. So maybe what we could do, you want to try this variation, the first four bars of this variation. Could you play the
Yeah.
first four bars? Try to sort of put it all into context.
The first one stop here. Is that right?
Yeah, up to the A, up to the A there. Yeah, yeah, and then this is a really beautiful thing. Like these three notes are actually part of that phrase, but there's like an interruption in there, right? There's a and then and they're all different lengths. They're all there's not much symmetry. They're all kind of little different in length, and it makes it very interesting to listen to those. It's much like speech, like when we look at a sentence, some parts of the sentence are shorter and some parts of the sentence are longer. And there's all this different there's a punctuation, right? It's kind of musical punctuation. So campanella and punctuation, you could say. Um, okay, and so yeah, maybe those first four bars, please, and then we'll look at the next two to probably finish there. So
First four bars.
first four bars, please. Yeah. Nice, nice, good, good, good. Yeah, yeah. It'll take a little while, for those things to settle that we talked about, but it's already improving. And then this bit's also a bit challenging. What is it? I'm not sure. Can you play that bar, please? Yeah, I think it's the same. But something that could help with this again is the phrasing, where to me it's sort of like you're starting at the top of the hill, right? So you could maybe take a bit of time and then start to accelerate just a little bit. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that was really nice. Really nice. And then the last bar. And can you play that bar? Yeah, you can go from there. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Very well done. Yeah. Yeah. So that was great. All right, so and then the theme comes back in, so you can think about those harmonies again, those interesting chords that come in, and yeah, each variation. I think yeah, I might have to yeah, Rob here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Could you showing. Uh, yeah, I've got another student now, so yeah, sounding great. So yeah, just apply those things there, and let me know how you go, and we'll see you next month. Was it April, May? In May, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Thank you very much. Then
Thank
I have
you.
a quick question.
Yeah.
Just wondering, do you normally, how do you memorize the piece? You just memorize by playing really many times, or do you purposely like work on memorizing
I
the?
think memorization's usually a byproduct of good practicing. So if you do these, the more you think about the music, the more you pull it apart and break it down, that helps. And writing out, variation, theme, describing the music. It's all of these different things. And then breaking down memory into different aspects too. Like we have muscle memory, we have oral memory. So if you can hear the piece in your head, if you can play the piece with your left hand only, there are certain things like that. But I think the most important thing is if you practice effectively, you're not just running through the piece from start to finish. You're covering all areas of the piece, and you're breaking it down. You're thinking about it, trying to think about it musically too. What's happening musically? What types of chords are being used, and that kind of thing. That can help as well. So
Okay,
that's a very quick answer. So, but
that's a
yeah.
good one. Yeah, good. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
All the best.
Thank you very much for your lesson today. Yeah,
Yeah,
see
my
you in a
pleasure.
month.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.